Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event. With your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
the Guru, back again in the lovely Apex Arena. We've got UFC Vegas 103, Manel, I'm a motherfucking star boy, Kape, taking on Asu Almabayev. Should be an absolute banger of a fight. We've honestly got some pretty exciting matchups for you this evening to break down that we're going to watch on Saturday. Unfortunately, we do not have a guest this week. We had a short notice, last minute pullout. We tried to find a short notice replacement, but we were unable to. Nobody wanted to sign at catch weight. So we move on, just me and TB. Very, very excited to break these down for you, TB. TB, if you had to pick a favorite fight of the night, favorite on the card, one you're most looking forward to, which would that be?
I think we get pure action in a couple fights on the main card. I would say in the Hebovich fight with Nasrat Haqparast, and then also on the prelims with Mr. Charles Energy Johnson and Ramazan Temirlov. What up, Kiwi? How you doing? Yes, an absolute shame. No guess. But you know it's not a shame? We're up 21 units so far in 2025.
Into that.
Go follow us at BetMMA Tips. If you haven't, we're also out there on Picket. There's a lot of different places you could find the work of TB and the Guru. And if you want to have success like us in 2025, you'd go ahead and do the right thing. Like the show, subscribe to the channel. We always have the best bets. Sometimes we have
most
the best guests.
90% of the time.
Yeah. Short notice. Hope all is well on the wrist of the girlfriend of our supposed to be guest. So anyways, we're moving on. We've got, as we talked about, Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev. Absolutely great matchup. So let's get down into it. What up, Ghost Phantom? How you doing, man? Thank you so much for joining.
Jesus.
Yeah. Everyone wants to see a Cody Brundage main event. So I know that's why they set it up this way. Real Fight Picks in the building. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you dropping by.
What's up, brother, man?
Yeah,
I really don't understand the Cody Brundage, Julian Marquez co-main event booking. Maybe they just like middleweights in that kind of spot after flyweights being in the main event. I don't really understand it. I would understand Chepe Mariscal. I would understand the fight it should be, which would probably be Ribovics and Haqparast. I would even understand who also absolutely deserves it, probably would have even deserved the main event shot, was our boy Charles Energy Johnson versus Temirlov. I don't see why that couldn't be moved to a co-main. But to make Brundage and Marquez a co-main event, I don't follow it.
You hate to see it, quite frankly, but here we are to talk about the main event before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Shout out to all you guys in the live chat. If you haven't done so, throw the like on the video.
Check this out.
Bada bing. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Little Sopranos. How you doing?
How you
doing?
That's
just a koozie, right? How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
All right, nice. So we've got a motherfucking star boy, Manel Kape, minus 218 versus Asu Zulfikar Almabayev. Strong bad. Sorry.
That's what that means?
Yeah, strong. Like,
everybody wants to know what
sword
means.
Strong sword. It could be one or the other. So we're going to give them both. That's what I'll say. In this matchup here, when it comes to the stylistic breakdown, if this fight were to take place at distance for 25 minutes, well, yeah, Manel Kape should look like a minus 1,000 favorite. But, the reason why the line's a bit closer here is wrestling is involved in MMA, right? And that's the threat that Asu Almabayev, Mr. Zulfikar, he's going to be bringing that to the table. So the question is, what is going to be the dynamic of Manel Kape sprawling, stuffing takedowns, managing range and distance, and can he get volume off in between stuffing takedowns and avoiding the ground game? And survey says, Guru.
Listen, honestly, I think in this fight, A lot of people were kind of rushing to play the dog, and you've seen that money kind of pour in as I think he opened like closer to plus 220 now.
Yeah.
So, he's at plus 180 here. And I can understand on some level why people would be rushing to play a dog here. But when you kind of take a step back to me, I think people are getting a little overzealous again, trying to fade Manel Kape. Sure, has he had a couple lackluster performances like the Mokaev fight? Yeah, I mean, is he liable to play with his food? Absolutely. I'm just not sure that Asu Almabayev has really beaten anybody super impressively or shown anything that makes me think that he can take down a top 5 guy here and win on short notice across 5 rounds. Yes, he does have a 5-round decision in his arsenal, which is nice to see. I'm just not necessarily convinced after watching the Nicolau fight, where the round that he gets the top control in round 3, he gets it with a knockdown, guys. It's not with his 6 takedown attempts. So, also, by the way, he's just going to sub Manel Kape. Manel Kape has underrated jiu-jitsu for what it's worth. And again, Asu Almabayev didn't sub Jose Johnson, has 10 minutes of control in that fight, doesn't get it done. I just don't see a world where Asu has 15, 20, 25 minutes of top control here, right? I think it takes a lot more to get Manel down. I think he's going to be able to fight the hooks. I think he's athletic. And you could be looking at a fight where Manel's down 2-1 going into championship rounds, and he just pours it on. At any point, he could be liable to stop playing with his food and bust out a serious combination that could take the lights out of anybody. I mean, I think he's seriously athletic for the division and has a ton of power and an underrated striker in that respect too, with his power. His one sub loss is to fucking submission legend Horiguchi.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. So, I mean, to your point, the jiu-jitsu is well improved. The takedown defense is very athletic and difficult to deal with. Asu's not going to like what he's going to have to deal with from range. But the reason why I do think this fight plays over more often than not is the threat of the takedown is generally what can mute a bit of the output of Kape. Also, Almabayev he does have a finish loss on the regional scene now, right? That's the one concern I have here. Is that the truth?
No, Asu, I don't believe has
both
that's
decision
true.
losses.
He has a finish. No, you're still wrong. Keep trying though. He has his first career loss was in his 5th pro fight to Tagir Ulanbekov. He loses by round 3 knockout. Yep.
So could we see him slow down the stretch? He's been deep in submission attempts before. He's going to be, a bit of the smaller guy here, giving up height 4 inches, giving up reach 3 inches.
Unless you're Marab, you get tired from constant wrestling, and you get tired from people stuffing your wrestling. And the problem is exactly that. Can he continue to do it? And is he good enough defensively to continue to avoid strikes? My guess is as he gets tired, he can't do that anymore. I really like Manel Kape in this spot. If I could get like minus 180 on Manel, I would actually play him straight up, but I don't think we'll get that close. I really like, and this is where I'm going to go with this spot. I've been thinking about it all week. I like Manel Kape round 4-5 decision at plus 130. I think he's live to get it done in the later rounds. Otherwise, I do think he wins a decision. If this guy comes out here and lays an egg, I mean, they're not only, of course, will the fans be done with him, the UFC will be done with him because he should have had a title fight last year instead of Steve Erceg, but he fucked that up. That's a really good point, Ghost.
Yeah, so this does change what he has to prepare for. Royval kind of gives him the fight he wants in that there's going to be a lot of volume coming his way and not a lot of defense on the other side. Whereas Almabayev, he's a bit more careful defensively on the feet. And you see that in the fight with Nicolau where they literally just stare at each other for a whole round, right? So that's one of the things that tempts me to just play an over and avoid a side here. But, I mean, you got to confidently plant your flag on Manel Kape. I think he's the way better athlete. And at this stage, he has way more good experience. And he's proven it in multiple high-level organizations. Now, there's always the downside. There's always crazy stuff that can happen, like him dislocating his toe in the first round, right? Like in the Makayev fight. But even then, he's giving an impressive performance down the stretch. So
absolutely, he's a dog in that respect. And then when you look at Asu Almabayev's upside, I'm like, what is it? Is it 44 landed strikes versus CJ Vergara? 44 strikes. That's what we're complaining about Manel Kape and versus Makayev essentially, right? I mean, when you look at what Manel Kape can do at his best, I mean, he lands 111 strikes versus Bruno Silva's 57. He lands 112 strikes versus Felipe Dos Santos. Even the Dvorak fight, he lands 58 and has 2 reversals. Or is that 2 sub attempts? He's got the 2 sub attempts, which is really impressive with the reversal.
Well, so that's Kape has like Kimura traps for reversals. Kape also can threaten guillotines and different things off of his back. And he uses it to scramble these days. It's not just to sit on his back and play from bottom. What up, Rem Dog? What up, Dix Insider? What up, MJ? Yes, listen, I know what it says, but he actually moderates for Brady a bunch. So it's
all right.
Awesome.
He can moderate for us too.
Yeah, you can moderate.
So something that's really interesting that I don't actually advise anybody to play at all is the Manel Kape by submission at plus 1,300, right? I mean, it's the guy has 5 legitimate MMA submissions. He can do it. We just went over the fact that he had submission attempts versus Dvorak. And honestly, did you guys watch round 2 of Asu versus Nicolau?
Yeah.
Dude's nearly put to sleep.
Yeah. It was intense. Wow. The king of Kape.
Manel Kape has said some of the funniest shit this week. Between him saying like all that beef with Izzy, he was like, yeah, it's sad to watch a legend get knocked out. And between him saying when he first started training jiu-jitsu, whatever, he said it was gay. He's like, I thought it was gay. This is just hilarious.
Sounds like him and the guru might get along.
He's just insane.
That's for sure.
Right? It was him that went back to back with Radke with the F-bombs. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Listen, I mean, ultimately, if you guys got a prop you like better, if you're taking the dog shot here, let us know in the chat. But shout out to all you guys joining us live. Really appreciate it. Make sure, I know you guys are just fans of the channel and here all the time, but we appreciate the love, even without the guests. We're here going crazy, having a great time. So Manel Kape, round 4 or 5 decision. I think on DraftKings, you could probably even get plus money over 2.5. Manel Kape and over 2.5.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, the more I can cut down, or like Manel Kape and over 9.5 minutes, like whatever gets me to plus money, that's what I'm going to do. You can use the same game parlay options because I think like by round 3, we're going to see a much diminished version of Asu. And I'm curious how it goes from there. Kape should start teeing off.
I really agree. That's my whole handicap.
Yes. And that's it, is I'm not going to play the money line till the fight starts because after round 1, I think we get a way better price on Kape if he's patient,
So Manel Kape and over 2.5 is plus 100 on 365.
That's pretty hot. That's got some considerations.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hell yeah. All right, we're going to move on to the co-main. If you guys are crazy enough to leave a super chat or do any of that stuff, we would love it. But, hey, if not, you're here, throw a like. That costs you nothing, right? There's plenty of ways to help support the channel. So, shout out to you guys. Cheers. And let's keep rolling along here.
We keep it rolling.
What? Cody beat down Brundage. The question is he giving it out or is he receiving one? Versus Julian, the Cuban Missile Crisis, Marquez. Will you get it tattooed on your tummy for me, baby? The Miley Cyrus fumble of a lifetime, right? Dirty Reg, thinking Kape could be the banana in the tailpipe this week. See him winning, but he's not going in my parlay. Exactly. Wait to live bet it. I think that's a better option. We love live betting.
Yeah, and I really do feel confident in overs in this fight in general.
Yeah. All right, but on this one, I mean, let's not talk about the luscious looks of the man on the right side, Julian Marquez. But in this matchup here, can that beard protect him from his 4th consecutive knockout loss? Can moving over to the MMA lab protect him from his 4th consecutive knockout loss.
Well, so I don't think he needs to be knocked out to lose this fight. And maybe I'm crazy for thinking that.
All right,
But
so why is that though? Like, give me. I like where you're going with this. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I see that, like, again, they could be staring at each other and just like light boxing. And then all of a sudden, when Julian decides to throw his haymakers, Brundage shoots in for a takedown. Maybe he gets him sometimes. Maybe they end up cage pushing sometimes. Like, I could see, like, the over 1.5 is really interesting to me. At plus money, why? Like, I get it on some level, but, he's faced a much more powerful fighters in Zach Reese, Barriott, and G-Rod. Like, all understandable. Yeah. It's just the accumulation of which I watched him to, he's a tough guy, which is another reason why I like this over. He's a tough guy. He takes unnecessary punishment versus Gregory Rodriguez and Marc-Andre Barriott. Yeah. Like, Mike Beltran and Mark Smith are late stopping both of those fights. And to me, after really watching that, it's not lost on me that the guy gets brained than his next fight. Right? 9 months later. Dead. He could not take a punch. He's out in 20 seconds. Yes, Zach Reese is tough. Yes, he's long and fast and fairly powerful. Understandable. Not necessarily the way I see this fight, but I could absolutely see him getting rocked and then taken down. And Cody Brundage will have no problem laying on top. To me, this line has rebounded to where I just thought it was. The end of the day, I bet Cody Brundage here plus 130, right? Or plus 138. What did I get? Do you remember?
Plus 138.
Right. So I bet that for a very specific reason. Is it that I love Cody Brundage? No, he's a nice guy. I would buy him a beer, but no. Is it that I think he's absolutely a lock to win this week? No, absolutely not. But what I think it is, again, and Dixon Side, you're right. There's a major. If you look at Tapology, it's 70%. If you look at Verdict, he's probably the favorite, right? This line movement has come back to where, to make this short story long, right? This is where I line the fight. I line the fight about Pick'em. I think this is now fair. If you're Julian Marquez truther, now you're on him because this is the time. At the line it was originally, it made what did he open? Minus 180, minus 160. Like it didn't make sense. I truly lined the fight to pick him. So that's why I put my money at plus 138. But here at plus 105, I'm not fucking doing it. No way. Cody Brundage has been an underdog in all 7 of his UFC fights. Is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's more.
Oh, because he has the no contest also.
Oh, it's actually more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is number 11.
Wow. I mean, well, what I will say about makes me scared of the Cody Brundage side is like, I think Julian Marquez's biggest downside is he loses minutes, but he's always live to kind of like
pull it out.
Yeah. And then also the second biggest downfall is his chin and the fact that we've seen him absolutely obliterated recently. But then if you're to look at the concerns on the Brundage side, you've got a gilly jumping, cowering, quitting, getting beat down, decides it's back of the head punches type of, I don't know if he's got the fight in him, but the outside the octagon factor here is his, unfortunately, like there's a real thing where his oldest daughter, 4 years old, is like just starting like doing occupational and rehab therapy for a rare genetic condition. And he's been in kind of training camp while his wife is handling like these 3-hour, 4-hour therapy sessions with their daughter. And he's like, it makes it really easy not to like want to skip out if like she's working so hard and I'm like, don't want to be there. Like it makes it really easy, good motivation to be there. And like everyone's reposting about his daughter and blah, blah,
blah. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. So if you go follow his Instagram and you just look at his story, it's just like Molly McCann posting about it. Josh Parisian posts. So like, I'm not saying like any great fighters or that like, it makes a huge difference, but there actually might be this external motivation where maybe he doesn't just quit this time in the face of adversity. Maybe we see him pull it out like the Dalcha fight versus I'm going to pull Gilly and sit on my back for 15 minutes versus Cedricus Dumas.
What was that fight that the dude, his brother had died, we didn't know, and he knocked him out? Who fucking was that?
Damon Jackson versus Pat Sabatini. Also, last week, ended up finding out that Modestas Bukauskas was fighting on behalf of his very close friend or brother his close friend that had recently passed away. So it's like sometimes when there's that external motivator, like when Modestas Bukauskas gets hit in the face and decides, like, I'm going to go out there and throw a 20-punch combination this time. Like, sometimes that can change things. So I think Brundage, some of those quitter mentality type of vibes, I actually do think it might be different this time.
And not for nothing, Julian Marquez is not the guy that's going to make you quit. Sure, he throws heavy strikes, but he doesn't throw. Hey, what's up, Lou? Always good to see you, my man. Hope you're doing all right, my buddy.
And I agree with this point too, Reg.
It's hard to imagine. No, he doesn't. Dude, please go watch the Maki Patola fight. He pulls out the round 3 late submission because Mackey's dead. He's up 2-0. It's a total choke job by a young fighter. He's terrible. And then he chokes out, Sam Alvey. It's just not impressive. There's just nothing to really grasp at there. I just don't see Julian Marquez putting a pressure, making this guy quit. Look who Cody Brundage, quote unquote, quit against. Abdul Razak Al Hassan.
Yeah, I would do the same thing.
Okay, that's fine.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah. By the way, Bo Nickel, did he really quit? He burned everybody's under 1.5. Yeah. He burned everybody's under 1.5. Zach Reese, he wins that fight via slam. Crazy. Malkoon fight. Bullshit. But he's also he's a plus 500 dog. What's up, Ethan? Hope you're watching, buddy.
Let's
Forrest,
go.
You're the man.
Appreciate you guys. Hell yeah. And Lou, thank you for joining and reminding us of the great Miley Cyrus scandal of a generation.
When I watch the Trayshawn Gore fight, or even like you said, the Dolce fight, to me, I get inspired to think that this guy could maybe put together, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes of a legitimate MMA fight. And that's all you need. You just need 2 rounds.
Maybe that's all you need.
I'm totally interested at the over 1.5. I think I talked myself into it. Julian does not get early submissions.
Right. So
he doesn't ever.
Damn.
Literally look at his record. He doesn't usually have them.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit down on the Cody.
Dude, he actually, I'm sorry. He doesn't have any round 1 submissions at all. It's 3 in round 2 and 1 in round 3.
Antoine.
What's up, Antoine?
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I hear you.
But you're not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to stay on the Brundage side, and we're going to sit down there.
I like the over 1.5 too.
Fair enough. And you can get plus money on both. And if you get a late Marquez sub and you cash your over to cover your Brundage, I don't know. I'm scared of the over spaghetti approach.
It's not spaghetti. It's not spaghetti. I'm not grasping at straws. This is how the fight's going to play out. I think it's correlated to who we like.
Fair enough. You make a good point. Into which case I would say, do you not just want to do like Brundage 3 decision for a quarter rather than to bet more?
No way. I'm not banking on I'm not banking on durability per se. It's just like I think over 1.5 is fair in a should be a close fight.
Fair enough. You know what would be fair if you guys did the right thing and threw a like on the video? Would be really cool. Cost you nothing. All right, we're moving on. We've got me. It's TB, Nasrat Hakparas, coming into fight Esteban El Gringo Hibovic. It should be an interesting one. We got plus 210 on the Nasrat side. If you take a look at the openers on Bet Online, it was actually the opposite. And now we have Hibovic here at a minus 258. Or is it Ribovic? He's not Brazilian. I think he's Argentinian.
He is.
Yeah, so it's definitely Ribovic. Right?
Ribovic. I don't know. You're the
damn
expert.
That's tough because it's not Portuguese. All right, we're gonna need help from our friends in the chat. I'd like to apologize. Sorry, dying. All right, we've got plus 210 on the Nasrat side, minus 258 on Esteban, the Gringo, the white boy. Over 2.5 is minus 360. That makes a lot of sense to me. Under 2.5 is plus 260. Well, in that case, I'm going with the dog shot here. I'm betting on myself. This is Love Handle Scouting MMA coming to you live from the dog shot of a century here. I think that looking at the depths of this fight is that neither guy is really going to be shooting takedowns.
Kelvin, yo, Kenny Powers. Dude, Kenny, you better like and subscribe, man, because that name right there, we want to see you back next week. Gastelum could very well win this one. I didn't know he was fighting this week, but he absolutely could win this.
It's Ribovitz. All right, I like that.
Dora.
Yeah, goes the distance. Southpaw versus Orthodox, and one of them looks like TB. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. So, yeah, fair enough. And it's allowed to be your pick and bet. I'll tell you the reasons that scare me.
But hear us out for us.
Exactly. This is a market overreaction. Ribovitz has been a dog mostly. I know he was favored in the McKinney fight and all that, but he's had a lot of close lines in his career here. And now flipping to a large favorite, Nasrat's faced the way better level of competition. Ribovitz is a bit of a headhunter, where Nasrat is a bit too, but he's got a 3-inch reach advantage and he's got way better striking defense differentials. Like we're talking about, here, I'm going to give you guys just a big look.
Oh, give it to us.
Yeah. So distance defense, I mean, head strike defense, it's a 7% advantage, and regular strike defense is like a 5% advantage. Now, that's also against way better competition for Nasrat. He's one of the guys that has some of the highest defense in the UFC, and now these fights against Landon Quinones, where he absorbs a shit ton of leg strikes. The fight with even like Bobby Green, he absorbs a lot of strikes. But what would happen if Ribovitz is in these similar scenarios? I think you'd see similar liabilities on the defensive end, if not worse, from him. And what Nasrat's going to bring here is when Ribovitz is coming forward throwing a combination, Nasrat's a technical counterpuncher who can get in and out of range. And if you're not offering a takedown threat, that's where his volume can shine. That's where his cardio can shine. Jared Gordon shoots how many takedowns, Guru? What did you tell me, 13?
He shot, guys, I didn't even believe it. And shout out to TB. Yeah. Because I'm watching the fight. I'm like, this is a close one. Nasrat's tired round 2. He comes back and dominates round 3. And TB I'm like, oh, I don't know, but Bobby looking tired. Without hesitation, TB goes, yeah. And how many takedowns did he shoot? And I'm like, let me check stats. He shot 13. He didn't get a single one. And Nasrat lands 150 strikes?
Yeah.
Okay, I get why you're tired, my guy. And he still guts it out and deserves it, in my opinion. Close fight, but I think a fair 29-28.
Mm-hmm.
I just, when you watch Ribovitz, it's just, he doesn't have great defense. And he throws with such reckless abandon that with a guy that is as measured as Nasrat, I think it's giving him the fight that he wants. And even if, right, well, I'm not watching, eyes blocked, this fight goes the distance, which is what the bookies are saying. And by the way, how I feel as well. How our golden rule is minus 200 or north. You have to see them getting a finish. Well, guess what, guys? Ribovitz is minus 258, and they don't see him getting a finish, and neither do I. How can you do it? It only matters to 3 people. And one's smoking crack, one's not watching, and one doesn't know what they're watching. So good luck. I'm taking Nasrat. Dog money. You kidding me? I just don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah,
it's a total, to me, it's a total love of Esteban's fight style and maybe an overreaction to him winning a very close and exciting fight versus Zellhuber.
And talk about someone who lacks defense. I mean, Zellhuber, very happy to throw down and get after it.
Talk about somebody who lacks defense. How about his wins over Terrence McKinney and then his wins over the gassing out of Kamala Kirk, a fight that he was about to lose? Is Kamala Kirk even still in the UFC?
He shouldn't be. I'll tell you
He's not. He's not. Yeah. He's got a fight booked in May in United Fight League.
Yeah.
He is not in the UFC. So I'm just not impressed. You win this fight, I'll be more impressed because Nasrat's a serviceable striker. And I was also, you know what? I'll give you credit again, TB.
Okay. Okay, I like this.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Again, I'm watching the Bobby Green fight from a couple years ago. I'm like, yo, TB, like, he's getting out volume. He's getting pieced up, man. Like, he gets shut down and no takedowns, right? No Jared Gordon.
Yeah.
So why not? And you're like, dude, I think you're seriously undervaluing Jared Gordon, Bobby Green striking. And I'm like, you're right. I think the recency bias of how old Bobby Green has now gotten is taking away from the fact that he's really fucking good at what he does. He's a difficult, unorthodox striker.
Yeah.
Throwing constant different switch stances and hands down and great head movement. Esteban doesn't have any of that. So
also, another low-level thing that Esteban does is when he throws his kicks, it's not really to the calf, it's to the thigh. So even when he is landing these kicks, it's not really going to be debilitating any of the movement of Nasrat. It's kind of one of those old school ones. Just lower level, even though he does it and it looks solid against the right competition, I don't think it's technical enough here.
I think the power level is similar. The defense is much worse on the Hibovich side. And I think one of the most important things, which is the way that Hibovich would win, is the speed.
Yeah.
His speed. If his speed is just that much better and everything else comes out to even, he'll win. But to me, that's not enough at minus 250 at all. So I'm on the dog at 2-1.
Yeah. Also, I mean, so like the Drew Dober fight happened, but besides that, I mean, and Hibovich clearly is not Drew Dober. Yeah, Nasrat's been durable. So I like him here, man. And we might have to add another unit the more we talk about it.
And not for nothing, you always need a dog on the main card. And Brundage is getting damn near close to favorite territory.
Yeah. And I would feel a lot better about a bet on Nasrat than I would have bet on Brundage. But damn it if I'm not going to do both. And this is one of the ones that almost got me here. We got Hyder, the Hurricane Amil, versus William Jaguar Gomi, a battle of two guys that I've tried to fade at every stop. And I was like, you know what? Amil, he's going to come in. He's got the volume. He's aggressive. He shoots takedowns pretty frequently, actually, offensively, when he's not defending them himself. He's got, just an absolutely wild style. He feints. He can switch stances. He strikes at all levels. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like the Hibovich thing is like, while it's high volume, it's not necessarily efficient, and it comes at the absolute detriment to his defense. And that's where the most elite talent of William Gomi comes in. It's his defense, his range management, his lateral movement, and his ability to make you chase him. And he's going to throw a teep kick to the body. He's going to throw a calf kick. He's going to throw a 1-2, and he's going to move. He's going to move, and he's going to move.
Can I ask you, do you feel with that type of handicap and probably his game plan, because that makes a lot of sense, do you think that the small cage is working against him and working towards Hyder Amil?
So here's where I got to do a quick double check. Really, it doesn't bother me because in this case, we've seen Amil get controlled in the clinch for one, and two, we've seen him end up being controlled as well by some smaller guys. Gomi has shown against over-aggressive fighters that he's able to actually land some, opportune level changes. Now, I don't think that we're talking about a grappler on the low level of Jarno Ahrens, but I do think with the size and athleticism advantage on the Gomi side, the youth as well. I mean, let's bring it up real quick. So cursory look at the anthropomorphic advantages. We're talking 7 years younger, 3 inches of reach, and 3 inches of height. And Gomi is the southpaw. Now, Hyder Amil switches stances, but
look at that. Look at that totally skewed and crazy distance, significant striking differential per minute at distance, which is like the biggest mouthful of a statistic you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Look at plus 14 to plus just under 2.
Yeah, that Lee fight was crazy, and that's what skews it all.
We were on Lee.
Yeah, and
Hilarious.
It reminds me. This is how you remind me. Is that Hyder Amil is someone that we didn't really think that highly of, quite frankly. It's just that he's cashed as an underdog. He's threatening to cash again. You just remember, is he really better than Joanderson Brito? No! no, he's not. I really don't think so. That's my answer. And
that's actually a really good point. Why did they make this fight?
yeah, I'm not sure. So I think Amel is like very aggressive and he's never gonna quit, but he does still slow down a bit. But go me, we've seen him kind of slow down and lose round threes, and that's where I think we get a 29-28 split decision. William the Jaguar go me. So go me by decision, minus 105. I think there's a better than 50% chance that it happens. So we take the bet to win 1 unit.
I can dig it.
Can you dig it, sucker? All right. Danny, left hand to God. Barlow.
This is crazy.
Versus Sam William Patterson. Or maybe he's God, because I think the left hand's about to go to God. Boom. The big questions here, as the guru has so poignantly asked us before, does the move, ask me at least, does the move up a weight class kind of solve the chin issues that we've seen prevalent in Sam Patterson's
I don't want
career?
to say solve, but I want to say maybe help him withstand it a little longer, because my thought and feeling was that, and again, I'll just be honest, maybe a little too honest, right? There was one book that offered me plus money on the over 1.5. And I took a little sprinkle there just as a thought of, you know what, let me just look at it. If every other book, if 8 out of 9 books line it minus 115, minus 125, minus 130, why not look at a book offering it plus 100? What am I missing? And when I look at it, you've got a guy in Sam Patterson who's gotten 2 round 1 submissions in a row. And you've got a guy in Left Hand to God who's probably remembered best for his round 1 finishes. But in reality, he's coming off a round 3 knockout and a split decision, which he continued to fight through with a broken arm. So I just kind of wonder just how this fight is going to play out, because I like Danny Barlow. I like his style. I like Memphis. I like the nickname. I like his whole shtick. I think he's a pretty decent fighter too, which is probably the best thing to like about him. You just wonder how he's going to face perhaps an onslaught of grappling, because this guy needs to grapple. Problem is I do think that he kind of likes his striking a bit much, and he's got the Stefan Struve tall man's defense of jerking his head back. Getting knocked out by Ashmouz is bad. What's his wrestling like? And I think that's a good point. I think one of the main things is, and maybe not main things, but one of the funny things is just to end up always taking away is that he is British. You show me one really high elite level British wrestler. We haven't seen, like, I'm not trying to be racist. Like, it's just like, it's just the truth. I don't really love his wrestling.
Well, I think it's predicated more on using his size rather than any high-level technique. And this is the point that makes me not happy with your over, is that I think each guy's kryptonite is the other guy's strength. Well, it's just that you have to start in the world of Danny Barlow before you could get to the world of Sam Patterson. And the athleticism differential, the ability to use the southpaw stance, the speed advantage. And, I mean, Barlow's going to be the bigger guy. Right? Like, that's our projection here, even though, Patterson's moving up to the 170 the last few fights. Like, I don't think there's a chance in hell that Barlow would have ever made 155,
Technically, right? I maybe, but again, like, Patterson's an inch taller and has 1 inch less in reach. So size should be negligible unless you really mean that he's that much thicker and firmly built.
Well, in my mind is that, like, it's not like Sam Patterson has no advantage. So Barlow is at a huge timing, speed, and striking advantage. So for Sam Patterson to get to where he wants to make things happen in this fight, he's gonna need to absolutely eat crazy damage to get there.
And I was gonna ask you, Suspez, and again, a new guy in the chat, please, dude, subscribe, like to see you next week. Like, do you really feel that he only needs one takedown? Like this guy's got that good a top control, or Barlow is that much of a turtle off his back? Like
Well, we
we're
see.
sure.
The question is, how much did working with Temba Garimbo help his grappling in this camp, right? And can he stuff the takedowns and not even find out?
I like it a little. I mean, Themba sucks, but I mean, he was training with literally nobody in Memphis, so might as well add a UFC fighter to it.
Yeah. Well, I think Barlow doesn't really offer any threat in the wrestling, and that's why we didn't know how bad Veretennikov's wrestling was at the UFC level. And Veretennikov's strength is striking, so you have him versus a one-handed fighter. I can give Barlow a pass. In that case, I don't think Patterson's an actual good striker, and I think one hand would be enough to do it in this case. I hate the optics defensively for Patterson, and I think that just eating any number of strikes from Barlow without ending in the takedown. Yeah, and this is why, we laid a little early parlay action, totally cash outable, not posted anywhere. Because we're not 100% sure if Barlow is really going to end up being that guy for us this week.
I think you're right. Again, you make a good point, man. You make a good point.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Problem is he could get brained while going in for one. I think that's baked into the line.
For sure. That's the expectation based off of where it's lined, right?
Guys, listen, please like, subscribe. And if you haven't done the right thing, it's okay. We'll forgive you. Give it a like and subscribe right now. Share it around to your friends. Hop on your mom's YouTube channel. Subscribe from there as well. We won't tell anybody. It's all good.
It's all right. Get grandma involved too. Just don't tell her, because we're going to go into her couch for some of our prop bets to fund our lifestyle.
We're 4-1 on events this year. Had a losing week last week, but I think we feel confident in I know we feel confident in our process, and I think we feel very confident about how we feel about our reads in last week.
Yeah.
And what we missed.
You can't be perfect, so it's about limiting your losses. We didn't give away all of our winnings in the year, right? And we're back to business, baby. That's what we do.
And if you're following us on Picket, you would have broken even with us, because we made money last week, like through live betting and some other bullshit. So if you want to get in on that bullshit, go follow us on Picket.
Exactly. Bet MMA, once it hits, there's no changing it. But if there's a will, there's a way, right? What would Devin Clark's dad say? You gotta fight. You gotta fight, Devin. Yeah, exactly. So, doing the right thing. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all. A super chat goes a long way, but we won't ask for too much. All right.
Never.
And what I should do, just like Austin, stay in your lane, right? Plus 410 versus Mario Pinto Bean, minus 550. Here he is.
That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, pretty great. 10 years younger, giving up 2 inches of reach, 1 inch of height. Mr. Pinto Bean. He's out here looking to stake his claim as the newest addition and brightest addition to the UFC heavyweight division. And Austin Lane, I'm sure the UFC is disappointed that they couldn't cut him after the Robellis fight, but I'm sure they'll cut him after this fight. So,
I can't believe he's 37.
Yeah. I mean, to give people an idea, is like 2 weeks ago, we got a similar type of guy like Taliesin Teixeira, like minus 140 versus Justin Tafa. And then we get this guy, Mario Pinto, at minus 550 versus Austin Lane. So, it changes the landscape of what you're going to do. We played the fight doesn't start round 2 in that matchup. But in this fight, in Pinto, he's a guy where I could see him just kind of like being okay with stuffing the takedowns of Lane, keeping him at the end of his range with the speed advantage and tossing out that jab. And Lane, I think over time, he's going to slow down. He's not going to be able to really land any takedowns. And if he does, I really like the way that Pinto uses the whizzer. He's very savvy grappling. He'll turtle, but without giving up submission attempts, he'll turtle and get back to his feet. He's gonna use all of his limbs. Even against a 6'9" Imanari rolling crazy guy on the regional scene, we still see him able to defend submissions and work to top control and stay safe using overhooks and whizzers to dictate control. So Austin Lane, I think he's got to stay in his lane, and that's, not being a UFC fighter. So I just don't know if Pinto does it by a clear 30-27, 30-26 decision. or if it's by way of round 1 knockout, because that's how Austin Lane loves to lose. So, yeah, Pinto KO minus 180. Yeah, Lane 0 chin, and he's going to run into punches.
Yeah, I mean, Austin Lane's terrible. I mean, he's really bad. I mean, he everybody
That's
looks like
actually
you.
kind of funny.
Yeah, you kind of do look like him.
That's funny.
If you were like brown.
Jesus.
It's the truth. Yeah,
I don't know.
Mario Pinto Bean is a really pretty solid fighter. I mean, is he going to be champion one day? I don't think so. But I think he's pretty decent at most things. And his size was quite impressive to me. His age is interesting to me. And his athleticism is already going to land you in the top 15 of heavyweight. Why do you ask me that, Guru? Well, because there's only, 28 heavyweights currently signed to the roster. So, you beat the Austin Lanes of the world and the Justin Toffas of the world. All of a sudden, you're looking at top 10. So this dude can find himself somewhere quickly out of nowhere. I mean, right? Gaziev loses to Rosenstrike, who's now on the unemployment line, probably end up fighting Ngannou. And now you've got Gaziev fighting Spivak. Spivak was just main eventing. That's honestly a pretty decent fight. Unless he gets subbed, you got a decent chance there in a 3-round fight. Why not?
That's true.
Right? He can maul him. He's big. He's going to be big. He's going to eat him. So, talking about fights happening this week, Mario Pinto I think gets it done. It's just whether Robellis quits or not. It's whether Austin Lane quits or not.
Yeah, great point. All right, we're moving on.
Nothing really to bet there. Too crazy.
Is this Ricky Martin or Ricardo Ramos? Because we're living La Vida Loca. Plus 320. I don't know if he loves it.
I love the song, but Ricardo Ramos has a nickname.
No, he doesn't.
Caracina.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't
Caracina. Carcacinha.
Yeah, not on UFC stats. He's living La Vida Loca. Chepe. Well, so it's Jose Chepe Machine Gun Mariscal. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. We have a plus 320 on the Ramos side, minus 410 for Chepe. And this just truly comes down to a dog versus what's that I smell? Ricardo Ramos, man, he's one of those guys where
I'm smelling, you know what I'm smelling? No. I'm smelling some salt because you were on the Koulibaly side. That's what I'm smelling.
No, but I was also on the Julian Erosa side. I was also on the Charles Jourdain side. So, I mean, how salty could I be? I profited betting. I was on the Lerone Murphy side. We did a lot of things at plus money against Ricardo Ramos. So, I'm just saying, like, I've been there before, and I've seen this guy get knocked out. Oh, my God.
He was a 185 favorite to Lerone Murphy.
Yeah, and we bet the dog because
I don't remember that.
This guy is so bad that he'll get knocked out from guard because he's the worst athlete. Chepe, he can do it from top control. He could do it from distance. He could do it from the clinch. He's going to disrespect this guy. Maybe it's a little sketchy early, and if it is, just jump in live on the Chepe train. I'm telling you, doesn't matter. There's no way that Ricardo is winning 2 out of 3 rounds or finding a finish. It's going to have to be by double spinning back elbow, and you're going to have to put Chepe out cold.
Dude, it's not happening.
To keep coming forward. So Chepe is definitely going to be a leg to one of our parlays. We just have to make sure we're getting the right legs in the other areas. So I'm like, is Pinto Beans a leg?
Pinto Beans could be. I'm going to do some more. Could be. Tape.
Listen, we use fucking I know it got sketchy, but we used Mansour last week, right? And that, aside from one little spin back elbow, and my grandma got scared. She said,
eventually he'll be worth fading, but
yeah. All right, so we got Chepe, we got Pinto Beans. We're going to find another leg, right?
That's really funny.
Chepe by round 2, round 3 knockout is my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, he could really just brain him early at the end of the day.
Yeah, he could. So maybe it's just Chepe parlay. And would you
Yeah.
be surprised if he just finds a way to
Why?
win
What's
this?
Chepe inside the distance? Why are we getting so crazy?
Because I have a feeling it's not a great price, given that
I
the
mean, he's
under 2.5 is
okay.
minus
So even
150.
if it's under minus 200, it's probably not terrible.
You make a good point.
So what is it?
To win by finish on DraftKings, which you're going to hate me for, but it's the easiest to load quickly. We've got the line at a solid minus 125. That's not bad, actually.
Minus 125, and that's the worst book. I bet I can, if I cook, I can probably find plus money.
We're going to need this guy to cook. That's going to be our prop play on this fight is Chepe ITD.
Yeah, that's the way. At minus 120, I'd even play it.
Ricardo's been subbed. He's been knocked out. No need to get cute. Chepe can do it all. All right, we're moving on.
Wait,
easy one there. Yeah, we are. We've got Douglas Silva, D. Silva de Andrade. I don't know where the nickname goes in there.
But sorry. Here it is.
What do you got?
Lerone Murphy over Ramos on our card.
I do like the round 2, round 3. You heard it here first. Me and Useless Present all over it. All right, so yeah, we got that one. We're moving on. We've got the disaster of a nickname and name that is D. Silva. And then we've got the sexy Mexi, John Castaneda, minus 325.
His nickname should be Muscle Hamster.
He is a muscle hamster. I like that. So let's bring this up a little bit. I'm curious. Actually, I mean, we can even do this. Look at that. Isn't that cool?
Nobody wants that.
That's pretty sweet. All right. So ultimately on this fight here, what I see is like Castaneda should have a big pace advantage, but at the same time, he also eats a lot more strikes. So if you're going to throw at a fast pace against, Silva here, you're probably expecting some power shots coming back, and it's going to be all about how Castaneda reacts to it. And if he's fast enough to stay safe defensively, I'm betting on the yes to those questions. I think Silva, he's over time just slowed down, eating shots worse and worse. If you're nearly getting finished by Cody Stamen, we probably got to have some conversations. And Castaneda, he's got kicks, he's got submissions, but I'm not sure if he does put him away or not. Douglas D. Silva is super tough. His corner threw in the towel against Petr Yan. Every other time he's going the distance. So
he's not fucking finishing him. What's the over? Oh, the over's 260. The over's 260, and you're debating whether he's finishing him. Really?
So I don't think Castaneda, by rule, could be a parlay piece, right?
By our rule,
yeah.
Technically, he's not allowed to be.
Yeah,
but
cool, right?
It's not super cool. But I just also feel like
3 inches of reach, right?
What exactly is Douglas Silva de Andrade's path? I mean, he beats Cody Stamen by unanimous. He finishes Sergey Morozov. That dude, oh my God, Sergey Morozov. Where's that dude been? He's so bad.
Sergey, where are you?
I guess he retired after beating Journey Newsom in 2022. I don't know what happened to him. But that guy sucks. He beats Paiva and Newsom. I'm not impressed.
That don't impress me much.
No. Yeah. I don't. I think Douglas Silva de Andrade is on his way out of here. They're showing no love to fighters anymore. I mean, you're watching them to cut Taylor Lapalus again. You're cutting Jairzinho Rosenstrike, who's like a 5-time main eventer in the Apex. Like, they don't give a fuck.
Funny question. If this fight sucks and goes the distance, also, this is a catch weight. Why is this a catch weight? It's listed at catch weight on the UFC website.
Wait, what?
Yeah, very weird. And maybe like Castaneda looks slow and kind of out of it against Daniel Marcos. I think he had a tough time, like one way or another in that fight. And I'm curious, like, who does it help more actually at the catch weight here? I mean, Castaneda is a few years younger, 6 years younger, and having a reach advantage. And he has this stance.
This is Andrade's 14th UFC fight.
And
I'm just by even number, I'm thinking that this is his last one.
I don't want to wait for muscle.
Think about it. Think about this. You sign a 4, a 5, and a 5. This is his last This is his last fight, guys.
Damn.
This is his 14th.
What about Mexi? What about him? Is he out if this is a boring fight? 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is his 8th fight. If he wins a boring decision, both guys are cut.
No, I don't. No, I don't agree because this is a guy that if he wins, he'll be 3-1 in his last 4.
Oh, so was
And
Taylor Lapilus.
yeah, but he's more exciting than Taylor Lapilus.
This would be his 3rd decision win in his last 3 fights if he wins another decision.
I don't know. Listen, I think there's something behind the scenes with Taylor Lapilus that's going on that they don't want him.
He's a boring fighter.
But again, they hire boring fighters all the time. Look at our co-main event. It's just,
I wouldn't kill if I would say they're not skilled. I would say their fights are entertaining, though.
No, that's fair. You're right. I was just being kind of.
Yeah, you don't like that I came up with the idea first.
Of what?
This is his 8th UFC fight. This is probably his second fair fight deal.
You're right, but I'm not necessarily as worried about it.
Fair enough. We don't need to worry about the metagame at this point. We're moving on. We've got Danny El Puma Silva versus Lucas Waluigi Almeida. Just look at him. He's got the look. He's gangly.
He looks nothing like Waluigi.
Big time Waluigi vibes.
Maybe if you put a purple hat on him and gave him a wiry mustache, I would agree.
I'm just saying.
Can you do a little what's that called?
Photoshop.
One day.
Yeah, one day we'll do it. But maybe a little post for Twitter for you guys, for the real ones. All right, so El Puma minus 218, Waluigi plus 180. I don't love it, to be frank with you, because the biggest thing that stands out is the lack of defense on the Silva side. This guy's got no. Yeah, maybe he tries moving his head, but it doesn't work, right? I mean, he's eating nearly 200 strikes versus Angel Pacheco. What is happening here? Why are you not just pulling a Kelvin and just wrestle fucking this guy? And then in the Coulibaly fight, he's getting outstruck 2-1 at distance, but then he gets enough control time, some back takes. But we've seen how bad Josh Coulibaly's takedown defense and grappling game is. Almeida's probably the same level, right? Could we say that? Coulibaly and Almeida are both really bad at grappling.
Coulibaly.
I think Almeida's a better striker, though.
I think Almeida's actually worse at grappling.
Why? Because Pat Sabatini?
Maybe.
No, come on. Pat Sabatini's as elite as it gets in the.
No, it's not that it's about Pat Sabatini.
Who is it about then?
When I don't know, when I think of Lucas Almeida, I just don't really think of grappling. I mean, who's his fucking coach? Where does he train?
I mean, he technically has a black belt. If you were to ask, So,
I was to ask him, right?
Yeah. But I'm not saying he's actually high level grappler, but I'm bringing this up as listen, Danny Silva, for all of his quick back takes and grappling attempts, doesn't actually submit the crappy grappler of Coulibaly, right? So if Almeida's not getting finished here, who's going to be the better striker at distance? Ask yourself. It's probably Almeida, right? He's going to land at a much better differential. Here, let's show you. Let's take a look at the stats, right? This is what we do. Lucas Almeida, I mean, his differential is +2, Silva -4. And that includes a lot.
It includes one fight.
Okay, so maybe it doesn't have his contenders one with Pacheco in here.
It does not.
But it would be even because he lands 5 extra strikes.
I'm just saying it's one fight for Silva. It's just not enough to really decide anything. And it's a tough fight against a guy in Coulibaly who's is an idiot, but is a really tough guy who's game to fucking strike a shit ton.
Yeah, but Almeida's a good striker.
I
don't know. Feely put him.
He's a decent striker. Feely killed him.
Right, but what is Feely do to Silva?
I'm sorry?
What would I don't know. Let's not MMA math.
What would Feely do to Silva? Feely fucking sucks. I'm not impressed. Again, in beating Timothy Kawamba, I mean, that was a Gene Matsumoto mistake. You know what I mean? That's a young fighter not in a bad position. That's not where he should be.
So,
and all right, let me just ask you this.
Okay.
And we'll just leave it here. And you know what? To me, this is metagame, and this is kind of with this level of metagame, hear me out. This is all I need. Each of these gentlemen had canceled fights between this one in Q4 of 2024. One of them had top 15 newcomer, about to be, David Onama. And one of them had our boy, but questionable-ish, Dennis Bazookia. Who do you think got who?
Yeah, they gave Almeida to Onama, didn't they?
Yeah, served him right up on a fucking platter. Whereas Danny Silva was going to get a nice chance at a victory versus Dennis Bazookia. Bazookia would need to grapple. You don't want to stand at distance with Danny for too long. That's just kind of where I end up.
I don't know. I end up in that I think Danny Silva needs the grappling, but I think he will use it. I think he's going to use it. So I think he gets it done. It could be closer than you'd like. He's probably going to eat too many strikes from distance than what you would like for a minus 218. But he probably comes out with the 29-28.
How often does Danny Silva wrestle, do you think?
Well, he, in his last fight against Josh Kulibau, that's the only reason he wins, because he gets outstruck 2-1 at range, but he lands 4 out of 9 takedowns for 5 minutes of control with 1 sub-attempt.
Well, there you have it.
But it's split decision, 29-28 across.
Right, but again,
as close as it gets, and it's control versus damage.
And I think that Kulibau is more of a dog and a better grappler than Almeida.
He shoots 2 out of 3 takedowns on Angel Pacheco, but only gets 46 seconds of control. And
Pacheco's a fucking dog.
But what happened in the Kalen Loughran fight where he gets controlled for extended periods?
Kalen Loughran's a better wrestler. He's not a better mixed martial artist, but he's a better wrestler.
So what is that? How does that bode for Danny Silva's success here then? That's my thing.
I just think the fight goes the distance. Oh my God, it's plus money. What?
All right, there we go. We found our bet.
This right here, that's Chronic Combat Conversations. We talk it the fuck out. That's it. Well, we just want to talk out a fight.
The concern, you've been finished by Pat Sabatini. You've been finished by knockout against Andre Fili. And does he have any finished losses on the regional scene too? Like, is it that bad for Lucas Almeida?
And he survives versus El Huber as well.
I mean,
I don't mind it. Guys. I don't mind it because I just don't think shot. Danny Silva doesn't hit like Andre Fili in the pocket like that. And that's Andre Fili focused. Andre Fili took a dive last fight. I don't know what the fuck that was. How does a 30-fight veteran a 15-fight UFC veteran
from half guard
get choked out with a guillotine from half guard?
Yeah, very interesting. You don't love to see it, but
at home.
Time has passed us by at times, All right, moving on. We've got Andrea KGB Lee, the Nazi herself. Or no, I'm sorry. She just affiliated. My bad. Versus JJ Allied Forces Aldrich. Coming in to storm Normandy Beach and take over what Andrea Lee and Tim Elliott have been fighting to defend.
Tim Elliott? Don't fucking talk shit about my boy Tim Elliott.
Your boy?
My boy, Tim Elliott.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't talk shit about my fucking boy, Tim Elliott.
I'm so sorry. It's who's
Tony Kelly.
Tony Kelly. I'm sorry.
You need to apologize for your. I would like to apologize. I want 100. How many characters are allowed in a tweet? 150 character. I want 150 character apology. 60. I want 160 fine, add 10 characters, Dick. I want 160 character apology to Tim Elliott after this pod.
All right, I'd like to apologize, but Tony Kelly, he's gonna yell in Andrea Lee's face in the corner during this fight when she's down 2-0, and he's gonna say those damn Americans and those Allied forces.
Yeah, what did he say? Like, kick that jab, bitch. And what did he say in that fight?
He's like, that dirty ass Brazilian.
Yeah, when they got Attilio Silva fight. Yeah.
Well, you got gigantic forehead for the Nazi sympathizer. And JJ Aldrich probably has her covered in the forehead department. Though. So,
she's got a mean forehead on
Hopefully it was left way, and we can allow headbutts. But anyways, in the breakdown of this fight, I mean, Aldrich is going to land more technical striking at range. Andrea Lee, in her last fight against Montana De La Rosa, is like in an even distance striking battle. That's as bad as it gets. JJ Aldrich, she can handle her own. She's got a nice southpaw stance. She's annoying to deal with. She boxes pretty solidly. And then she's got really good takedown defense. I know that the Yang Na fight happened. I know what it looks like, but the Yang Na had a huge height and reach advantage. And she's also a physical freak for 2.5 minutes before she dies of cardio. So I'll give her a pass for allowing her to gas out and not dying. And Aldridge goes ahead and finishes the job and gets the finish on Na, right? So I'm not projecting her to finish Lee. And we see it over 2.5 at -580. We see Aldridge at more than -200. Well, like, God damn it, every single Andrea Lee fight is a split decision. So just bet the fight goes to split or Aldridge wins by split just to be disappointed that this is the time that Andrea Lee loses by unanimous. What do you got, Guru?
No, I'm telling you right now.
What up, Rob?
Pick the favorite. Do not bet on this fight.
All right, fair enough.
Don't do it.
What
But
do I got to do here? Hold on.
if you need to call 1-800-GAMBLER like the rest of us, I think you put, and I mean $5 or less
full gen play
on an under, just for absolutely no reason at all, because I think that they're stupid and anything could happen.
Wow.
Like Andrea Lee, how are they giving her another shot to get 6 losses in a row? I promise you, if and when she loses this fight, she's done. And JJ Aldridge, late in her career, has lost 3 of her last 5. So it's a winnable fight that she won't win. Maybe somebody ground and pounds or gets an armbar or quits. I would love it. It would be hilarious. The over's -580. So funny. Please. Nothing would be funnier than a fucking finish. So
would be great.
That's where I would, if I have to put $2 to yell for 15 minutes for a finish and laugh hilariously, that's the best $2 I've ever spent.
Good man, Guru. Good man. All right,
don't bet
pass.
This fight.
Yeah,
don't
pass.
bet this fight.
Pass.
Pick JJ because she's just a more well-rounded fighter
and a better person, and she's with the Allied forces.
Yeah. Andrea Lee has to do what? A volume-based decision and keep it standing as well?
Yeah, it's not good. Not good, Bob. All right, we've got Charles Energy Johnson -125 versus Ramazan Temirov. Temer. -125 now on Charles Johnson. Well, what if I told you, if you were following us on Pickett, you would have known? What did we do, Guru? As you guzzle away, what did we do here?
We did a couple different things. I guess I decided to get drunk tonight. What I decided to do twice. I'll just be honest, right? Twice. We played Charles Johnson. We got him at +110.
Bang, bang.
And then Bet Online had moved to like +115, and we're like, oh my God, we got to cash out and be sure. And then all the other books changed, and we got our last second chance at +110. I got 4 units down. I think TB did as well. Yep. Probably should have went more.
Yep.
At +110 again. And yeah, he's -125. I think he's durable as shit. You're not finishing this guy, and that's Ramazan Temirov's only chance. Temirov needs a knockout. Like, he needs to close the distance and knock him out. And I don't know. Charles is in his prime, and he trains a ton, and he's in great shape. So I just don't necessarily see it. He needs a perfect shot. And this guy Temirov has not necessarily fought the best competition. Knocking out Vergara, right, is cool, but not the most amazing thing in the world. Fucking Vergara's a midget. You're fighting probably one of the top 3 biggest flyweights in the division. Dude should have been on the main card tonight, main event.
Yeah,
I think he knows what he needs, and finishing this, or beating at the very least, this 18-2 prospect is going to put you in good favor with the UFC once again. So plus money, I'm very happy with where we ended up.
Coincidence that he's fighting on the same night as a Manel Kape potential title contender? No, I think not. And that's why the fights aren't too close together. They're in the same division. So it's like you got one sick flyweight fight to open the card. You got one sick flyweight fight to finish the card. So they moved it around. This was originally the opener.
And then you have a different flyweight fight to open the card.
Yeah. Now, what I will say with everyone betting like a round 3 finish on the Charles Johnson side, everyone looking for a potential inside the distance.
He just probably won't finish him.
Yeah, it's probably just going to be a close decision by the end of it. Like Temirov by aggression is going to come out hot. We're probably going to get Johnson again at plus money once the fight's going on.
Right, but
we're going to be sitting there sweating our balls off.
What is Charles Johnson round 3 though?
It was like plus 12. I saw some people at like plus 2,000. Some people at plus 1,200.
People make tickets. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. We can get plus 2,000 on Fanatics and 365. So I really think that we should do that because it's plus 1,400 on fucking DraftKings.
So what do you 5?
No, 5 and 250. I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't care. Somewhere between there. You don't. $5. I mean, sure, whatever.
I mean, well, we've done a lot worse things with a lot.
Right, but whatever. You take your, you take your 4 units and make it 375 all of a sudden.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, at plus money, I'm okay doing that. And if it goes down, it goes down, right?
I think he really does have a good shot at it, though. And TB, are we gonna buy a T-shirt if he does give it?
If he gets a round 3 finish now that I put $5 on it.
That's without a doubt. But if he just wins, we put 4 units.
Nah, unfortunately we're gonna have to up our unit size for it to mean that much.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I will say Charles Johnson, he's one of those guys you do want to support. So what I will recommend is if you're out here betting on fights and, watching these guys cash tickets for you, hell yeah, get there. Like Guru is really good about like, he wins a bet on someone, he gets a shirt, he buys. I'm not like a big merch person in general, but I'm all about supporting people. There have been some I bought an Adrian Yanez shirt one time after he was on the show. He was a fun guy to interact with. So
I bought a it was probably the worst one ever, but hilarious. I bought a Bilal Muhammad shirt after he won us a ton of money on over Leon Edwards. Maybe mostly because I hated Leon Edwards. It was a pretty cool shirt too. It was really also supporting John Anik because that's who makes his merch. So it's all good.
All right. Well, we're on the energy side. Hopefully, with all that he's talking online, he could take care of this Oompa Loompa. He's got a 5-inch height advantage and a 7-inch reach advantage, and he's got the 5-round cardio advantage, even though it's a 3-round fight. Johnson's going to put it on you, and this is going to be similar to what it looked like late for Josh Van. And mind you, Charles Johnson was 1-1 going into the third there. He was on his way to a split decision by winning round 3, even if he didn't get the knockout. Just to remind you all. All right. We've got Montana, Yellowstone, De La Rosa versus Luana, Dread, Carolina. Because it's in the Yellowstone region.
What does that mean? Montana's in the yellow.
Yeah.
God, that's really bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't have the bandwidth for a better one there.
Like, you honestly...
I was going to put French, but I don't know.
French?
Montana.
Okay, so that would have been better. And I also, if you wanted to give me the whole depressed, I've got nothing left to give. This is my last nickname. You could have literally put her nickname as Mark, and that would have been funnier. Yeah. Yellowstone's terrible.
I don't know. I think
he likes it. He's using it. I bet the Yellowstone
Montana could have done Hannah Montana.
Right, exactly. Like, you're terrible.
Damn, that's rough. The Guru doesn't have any faith in me. That's unfortunate.
You ruined it.
You're unfortunate.
And Pinto Bean was a lot like a layup. Like an 8-year-old would have done Pinto Bean.
Let's go. Of course. Yeah. What would you have done? Nothing, because you don't actually do anything to prep for the show. For any of the graphics.
You know how often I rattle off nicknames right off the bat better than you?
So why don't
is a tough one.
So go ahead and do the work before the show. If you text it to me, it goes in.
Oh,
so
I'm not doing the work.
If you're so good at nicknames and it's so easy, just
let me know that I'm better. You know that I'm better than you at giving nicknames. I just don't do the fucking PowerPoint.
It's a burden that I've taken on. So you're going to have to deal with the results.
You are my burden that I've taken on, so I know exactly how you feel.
And he would probably off himself if I wasn't there Saturday nights. So anyways, plus 110 on the Montana De La Rosa side. Minus 130 for I dread this fight, Luana Carolina. But the moral of the story.
What did I tell you to do? What did I tell you to do, TB? What did we do?
TB's on strike.
Oh, you're on strike?
He's a very busty man.
I don't know exactly what that means.
He means busy, but he said bust instead.
Oh, yeah, I am a busy guy.
Listen, we're trying to have some. This is what you get if you hang out with us. You want to have a good time watching the fights.
Wait, is that
every weekend?
Wait. Is that the Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20?
Hell yeah, and he just turned on the notifications for the channel, baby.
Oh my God, dude, you better like and subscribe, man. I love Matchbox 20. You're my favorite.
It's 3 a.m. and I'm alone.
He wrote that song about his mom, man.
I know that has cancer. Yeah, I know.
I don't think it was cancer. Was it cancer?
That's what it was. She had some type of illness that
I thought. No, it wasn't cancer. I think it was a mental illness where she was like literally not happy when it rained outside. No, you're not a loser, Rob. You're hanging out with us. That automatically makes you not a loser.
I agree. Now,
I hope that was convincing. If anything, we're all losers together, Rob. So it's okay.
Fair enough. His mother's cancer as a teenager.
Was it cancer?
Yeah, I guess so. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, you Googled it.
Yeah.
Oh, so I didn't know you were such a big Robert Thomas fan.
Nah, it's just because when you have a parent that died of cancer, you remember shit like that. So, anywho, we're moving on. There's a reason why I remember shit. So, anywho, I'll violin you a little asshole if you're not careful.
Oh, yes.
I know.
Yes, you guys heard that, right? That's a contract. That's a verbal contract. That's a verbal contract.
Minus 130, I just absolutely dread that for the favorite here when we've seen that she gets taken down by literally every single UFC opponent she's had. So even if Montana De La Rosa was as bad of a wrestler, right? Like if you go back and you're like, she's not that great at takedowns. You don't love her accuracy, but does she keep going for him? Typically, right? And then you're like, well, she can't be as bad of a takedown artist as Molly McCann, right? Or Poliana Battaglia, right? Or Lupi Gudi. Okay, no. But, Joanne Wood? Ivana Petrovic? Like, what is happening here? Who are these people that are landing takedowns on Luana Carolina? And the funniest part.
Wait, did you actually forget all the fighters in the UFC? Or you're like, who are these people? Do you not know who they are?
Well, who are these people landing takedowns in a UFC fight?
I mean, Ivana Petrovic she's a wrestler. It's like her thing. But she sucks. And Pudilova's like a 1-2 striker with a little bit of grappling. And she's shown that on the regional when she kind of made her way back to UFC. So, I mean, again, I get why she got them. But to your point, which was my point originally, I think Montana De La Rosa is a better grappler than those people.
Fair enough. So, in that, Luana has only stood up from a takedown one time. From any of those takedowns, it's generally gone to the end of the round when she does end up on her back. Sometimes there could be a potential reversal, but it's not often, right? It's like when Julia goes for a crazy sub and misses it, that's when it starts going downhill. So De La Rosa, I don't trust her to be good at it, but I trust her to do enough where, a plus money to start the night, sketchy split for the women's underdog. I think this is the one. It's not Andrea Lee. It's going to be Montana.
I just, when I was watching the JJ Aldridge fight, I really think that's just the one that maybe raises the most concern. Losing to Tatiana Suarez is understandable, and even Macy Barber, who's solid prospect. I mean, really not a prospect at this point, but a solid fighter. I just kind of get concerned. But at the end of the day, JJ Aldridge is somebody who's had underrated takedown defense, I feel like, throughout her career. And is just kind of a gritty fighter who had much better boxing. And I feel like this isn't talked about enough. While the fight was like 30-27, I feel like it was like one of those sneaky, was actually kind of competitive, but still a 30-27. Does that make any sense? Am I just drunk? Like, I feel like that's kind of what I felt like I saw on the tape, but maybe you saw differently, or
I mean, it ends up being like Yeah, I get what you mean. It's closer than you'd like it to be for a fight that, in retrospect, on the scorecards, 30
Was
27.
that
Yeah.
close.
Yeah,
Right.
it was that
I
close.
felt like, again, like she just didn't really get her grappling going because JJ was a stronger boxer and had decent enough takedown defense, drilling where she drills in a decent camp.
I actually think that they might have trained together previously.
Right. That as well always affects a fight. So that's a really
Yeah.
good caveat to that.
And
I like that.
and also Aldrich's footwork makes it very difficult unless you have explosive entries.
Which
Like
she does not.
Carolina gives up her hips if you ask her nicely.
She's Muay Thai, so it's like up here and kicks. So your fucking hips are widely available for takedowns.
Fair enough.
And that's why we got plus 130. Is that what we got, TB?
Yes, yes, we did.
So there you go. Hopefully you follow us on Picket and you got that too.
Baby. Boom, boom.
I love that. I love some Matchbox 20.
Yeah, this guy actually skipped the UFC card to go watch Rob Thomas live in concert.
Skipped with it,
Watch
it with
watched
you.
as it gets. Not with me.
It was with you. Instead of going, no, I skipped watching it with you. No, I skipped watching the UFC event with you. And I remember which card it was. Do you remember which card it was?
No, not at all. It was an Apex card for sure, though.
Of course it was, but it was the first card of last year. It was Johnny Walker and Almabayev 2.
Actually hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, you guys have done an absolutely incredible job making it here with us. The important thing to remember is to do the right thing, right? Up 21 units in 2025 over at Bet MMA Tips. If you follow us on Picky, you'll see all of our live degenerate props, plays that happen once the fights start. Everyone's got to have a little something going on. But if you follow our success over there as well, I mean, I was up 100 units on Picket last year. The Guru was in that territory, I think. I'm up another 30 units to start the year on Picket as well. And that's across multiple sports. So it's not just MMA. No, you shouldn't change your name. You're honoring the legendary Rob Thomas by being yourself. But yeah, make sure you guys say, listen, we got the best bets, the best guess when they don't fall out last second. Always free picks. Up big this year. Had a great finish to the year last year as well. So jump on the gravy train. I think we're having a great time. We keep doing great things. And if you want to see me and Guru argue like a married couple, then you're in the right place. You made it.
Yeah, I was up just under 50 units last year, but I did some crazy shit where you wouldn't have tracked all the crazy shit I did. You would have made money.
Yeah.
Listen, really, really appreciate everybody being in here. Most of all, I appreciate TB for being my buddy and for being an awesome co-host and doing a lot of the work here and giving out the shit.
He's trying to make sure I don't disinvite him for this weekend.
No. Yeah, I give you a lot of shit, man, but I hold you to a high standard. You're a good guy, but you work hard and you give it all for us. And I love doing this. I love doing the pod. Love being here with you guys. Really appreciate everybody. We'll see you guys next week. We got a fucking pay-per-view. Wow. TB, who did I book, TB?
Ah, shit.
I booked oh my god. Sean Orr.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Who's a really nice guy, super, super sharp, big money, makes a ton of it. I've been talking to a bunch of people trying to book guests, so I had forgotten who we had booked. We got Sean Orr coming next week. Really looking forward to breaking down the pay-per-view. Hey, if you followed us on Picket, you would know that we have 5.5 units on Alex Pereira minus 110.
We can't get it on X also.
Hey, you can't get it anymore, guys. I don't care what book you have. Minus 110, it doesn't exist. So make sure you're following Chronic Combat Conversations. Make sure you're following TB Scouting MMA over on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, Picket, and Tapology. And you can follow me, the Guru Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Verdict, Picket, Instagram, and Tapology. Oh, and of course, follow us both on Bet MMA. Take care. Be safe out there. And let's make some mother money.